Attention. Welcome to the Different Spectrums podcast. We dive into the wild world of mental health discussions. Get ready for profound talks, a sprinkle of humor and sarcasm, and a touch of colorful language. Just a quick heads up, our show reflects our individual opinions, which may not align with the standpoint of the podcast, our featured guests, or any related corporate entities. Our mission? To illuminate through laughter and satire because everyone needs a good chuckle. Chill out and don't stress over the small stuff. Legal troubles? No, thank you. Cancel culture? Please spare us. We'd rather keep this space lawsuit free. So buckle up, have a good time, and join us as we navigate the vibrant realm of mental health on the Different Spectrums podcast. Hey everybody, we back again.
Hey, we're back and we're live.
I'm Spencer, your co-host, and that's our licensed clinical therapist, Nas.
Dr. Nas, you know. And blood sugar's under control, Dr. Nas, you know. I got the shot. I'm on the shot.
Good. I'm glad. So good.
I'm not gonna die. Well, I'm still gonna die.
I'm invincible. Anyways, remember, don't take us too seriously.
Or do. It's completely up to you.
There you go. Also, don't forget to run up those likes for us. We'd really appreciate it. All right. So for today, we have a very special guest. Our guest is a licensed clinical and school psychologist, educator, and speaker based in Austin, Texas. She specializes in liberation-oriented, anti-oppressive, and culturally informed mental health care. Through her work, she addresses the pursuit of collective healing, particularly within historically overlooked communities, including Asian Americans and children of immigrants. Please welcome Dr. Han Ren to the show.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for having me.
Nice to have you. Nice to have you.
Thought she was Mexican, but okay.
¿Qué pasa?
Not quite.
No, you just live in Texas. Oh,
I
damn
just
it.
live in Texas, yeah.
Close. So close.
So close.
Used to be part of Mexico.
Yeah,
Yeah, true.
back
Why'd
in the
you have
day.
to bring that up? You had to bring that up. We're still hurting from that.
Uh-huh.
Land back.
Took your shit, homie.
Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Oppression.
America.
Anyways, today we're going to be talking about the movie Office Space, the classic. By not only has a great cast, but it's actually by Mike Judge. And if you don't know who Mike Judge is, you know who he is because he's done King of the Hill. So you've watched that before, and he's done plenty of other great shows. But some of the things that we're going to be talking about, working from home and how productive or unproductive we can be when we're working. Motivation, purpose, looking down on those who maybe have, certain ailments. And then also rewarding those, or as we call it, failing upward. Those are some topics that we're going to be covering. Nas, anything before we get into the show?
What's the main guy's name from King of the Hill? The main guy.
Hank.
I saw someone's ass today look just like his ass.
His ass who looks like his ass.
Okay. I saw an ass look just like his. It's just
ass on ass.
I told my dad. I said, "Look at that ass."
Yep. He had to have the butt pads.
You just slope like that.
How'd that look a lot plumper than before? How'd that
happen? How is it inverted?
He needs to do some squats.
Hank Hill doesn't do squats. All he does is propane and propane accessories.
That's it. Yeah. Excited to do the pod. I hit you up a while ago. Been following your content, like I told you before. Love the vibe. Love what you talk about. Love how you show up on the space on the interweb. Today we're gonna get into some neurodivergent stuff too, right? Some autism stuff.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about Milton.
Love it.
Staplers, and also just kind of being shit on at work. And then also just burnout. I actually pulled out a stapler.
A stapler.
Why do you have a stapler at your desk? Are you fucking stapler?
Who doesn't have a stapler on their desk, dipshit?
Bro, everything's online.
I can't staple shit. There's no stapling.
What do you need that for?
Why do you have an industrial
Because I live in the
stapler?
physical world. I don't live online. I know that's hard to believe, but
You're not part of the Matrix yet. Okay.
I know. Weird. You gotta staple
He
things.
just pulled out a stapler.
Guys, staple.
Old man's over here cosplaying.
Yeah.
But no, really excited about today. I didn't even think that we were going to talk about corporate culture or just having your jobs, existential like shit related issues, depression, and we're going to talk about some suicidality. So let's get into the show. Let's chop it up. Let's have some fun today. Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop.
Hey, look at you appropriating. Okay, I see you.
Yeah, stole our whole flow there. That's all right.
Yeah.
I can follow along. I can jive.
I can jive. You want to talk about me being old? Fuck is that jive?
I know jive turkey.
I can
What?
jive. All right.
I got the skills.
A dynamite.
Girl got one pair of Jordans, thinks she black.
You only need one.
I've got two. I've got 2 pairs of Jordans.
Oh, that's cute.
Don't get it twisted.
I got my first pair when I was like 2 years old. It's fine.
Facts. Let's be real. Them little kid Jordans are the cutest shit I've ever seen.
They are. I bought some for my friend's kid, little nephew, little Bo, and the cutest shoes. Cutest shoes ever.
So cute.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah.
Let's do the show.
Anyways.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Oh, yeah, bro. Yeah.
Bro,
The mask
good.
comes off.
The mask. Fucking John Cena. Bro. Them baby shoes are cute as hell.
They are.
Every time I see them, I almost like want to
You
cry.
hang them in your like rear view mirror, you know?
Are you Mexican now? What are you stealing?
You've been in Texas for
You've been
too
around
long.
too many colored people.
We're in our lowriders. What else are we supposed to put on our mirrors?
Girl, you get that dark eyeliner and shit. I see you.
The
The
dark
lip liner.
Oh
Yeah,
God,
little
that's the
Tejano.
worst shit ever. I hate that shit so much.
Next batter looks like a Peter Gibbons.
Uh-huh.
Oh, there you are. We were just talking about you. You must be Peter Gibbons. Uh-huh. Terrific. I'm Bob Slidell. This is my associate, Bob Porter.
Oh, hi, Bob. Bob?
Pretty much go ahead and grab a seat and join us for a minute or two. You see, what we're actually trying to do here is we're trying to get a feel for how people spend their day at work. So, if you would you walk us through a typical day for you?
Yeah.
Great.
Well, I generally come in at least 15 minutes late. I use the side door. That way Lumberg can't see me. And after that, I just sort of space out for about an hour. Till I'm
Space out?
Yeah, I just stare at my desk. But it looks like I'm working. I do that for probably another hour after lunch, too. I'd say in a given week, I probably only do about 15 minutes of real, actual work.
Peter, would you be a good sport and indulge us and just tell us a little more?
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you something about TPS reports. The thing is, Bob, it's not that I'm lazy. It's that I just don't care.
Don't care?
It's a problem of motivation, all right? Now, if I work my ass off and Initech ships a few extra units, I don't see another dime. So where's the motivation? And here's something else, Bob. I have 8 different bosses right now.
I beg your pardon?
8 bosses.
8?
8, Bob. So that means that when I make a mistake, I have 8 different people coming by to tell me about it. That's my only real motivation, is not to be hassled. That and the fear of losing my job. But you know, Bob, that'll only make someone work just hard enough not to get fired.
Would you bear with me for just a second, please?
Okay.
What if, and believe me, this is so hypothetical, but what if you were offered some kind of a stock option equity sharing program? Would that do anything for you?
I don't know, I guess. Listen, I'm gonna go. It's been really nice talking to both of you guys.
Absolutely. The pleasure's all on this side of the table, trust me.
Good luck with your layoffs, all right? I hope your firings go really well.
Excellent.
Great.
Looks like you've been missing a lot of work lately.
I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob.
Good one.
Oh, that's terrific, Peter. I'm sure you've heard some of the rumors circulating around the hallways about how we're going to be doing a house cleaning with some of the software people.
Well, Bob, I have heard that, and you got to do what you got to do.
We're going to be getting rid of these people here. First, Mr. Samir Naga. Not going to work here anymore anyway. And Mr. Mike Bolton. Everybody's going to miss him.
You're going to lay off Samir and Michael.
Oh, yeah, we're going to bring in some entry-level graduates, farm some work out to Singapore. It's usual deal.
Well, standard operating procedure.
Do they know this yet?
No, of course not. We find it's always better to fire people on a Friday. Studies have statistically shown that there's less chance of an incident if you do it at the end of the week. Anyway, Peter, what we'd like to do is put you into position to have as many as 4 people working right underneath you.
This is a big promotion, Pete.
It's huge.
So you're going to fire Michael and Samir, and you're going to give me more money?
Huh?
Wow.
He goes home and tries to kill himself by running the car in the garage. Is he dead? No, man, check it out. That wife of his comes home early from work and catches him. So he tries to play it off like nothing happened.
I was having some trouble with the shifter here. It's jammed. I couldn't get it into drive. I mean reverse.
You okay, Tom?
Then as he's looking at her,
Yeah.
he decides he wants to live.
Yeah, I think I'm okay.
All right.
Seems to be working now. See you later, honey. Love you.
But then, as soon as he backs out of his driveway, he gets slammed big time by a drunk driver.
Is he okay?
Sort of. He broke both his wrists, legs, a couple of ribs, his back. But check it out, he's gonna get a huge settlement out of this. Like 7 figures. He's getting out of the hospital tomorrow. He's gonna throw a big party this weekend to celebrate. We're all invited.
Spanish shipwreck off the coast of
Milton.
Spain.
Hi. Could you turn that down just a little bit?
Well, I was told that I could listen to the radio at a reasonable volume from 9 to 11.
Yeah, no, I know you're allowed to. I was just thinking maybe like a, personal favor.
Well, I told Bill that if Sandra's going to listen to her headphones while she's falling, then I should be able to listen to the radio while I'm collating. So I don't see why I should have to turn down the radio because
all right, okay.
I enjoy listening at a reasonable volume.
Thanks.
From 9 to 11.
Milton.
But
What's happening?
I didn't receive my paycheck this week.
You're gonna have to talk to payroll about that.
I did, and they said...
Milt, we're gonna need to go ahead and move you downstairs into storage B.
No, I was told I could
have some
not-
new people coming in, and we need all the space we can get.
But there's no space.
So if you could just go ahead and pack up your stuff and move it down there,
But no,
that would be terrific.
I was told
Okay.
I could stay. Excuse me. I believe you have my stapler.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lord. Happy birthday to you.
Terrific.
Here, Peg, you want to get everybody started there? Oh, that is terrific. Just terrific. Thanks, everybody. Really, I really, really appreciate it. It's very special.
Now, Milton, don't be greedy. Let's pass it along and make sure everyone gets a piece.
Okay, but last time I didn't receive a piece, and I was told that
Just
I could
pass.
Okay. But this, if there, I can see the cake. There's lots of cake. There's many people. They raise you up. People to cake is too many. Many people. The patient, the piece of cake. It takes a long time. Excuse me, senor. May I speak to you, please? I asked for a Mai Tai, and they brought me a pina colada. And I said no salt. No salt for the margarita, but it had salt on it.
Lo siento
There's
mucho,
big grains
señor.
of salt on Lo Siento,
Pinche
but it
gringo.
happens again. I won't be leaving a tip because I could shut this whole resort down. Sir, I had to take my traveler's check to a competing resort. I could write a letter to your board of tourism, and I could have this place condemned. I could put.
Hey everyone, I'm here to talk about our new collaborator, Toink Toys. They have a wide selection of, you guessed it, toys and other great collectibles. They have products from Marvel, Star Wars, Harry Potter, and everything pop culture. You could say they put the toy in Toink. So go check them out at toink.com and use our code Different Spectrums Podcast to get 10% off your entire order today. I'm Rodney Dangerfield. And we're back again. And they show us no respect.
We're back and we're live. I can only think of Ronnie Dangerfield right now.
Oh.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace. King comedy.
She had a mouth that looked like it had a hook in it. Oh, Caddyshack. Great film. Anywho, we have a great guest today. Hanren, once again, thank you for coming on to the show. My first question to you is, how did you start your mental health journey? Could you walk us through that? Yeah, let's start with that.
I mean, how does any therapist start their mental health journey to find out if they're normal, if their family is normal, what's wrong with their family, right? We are all kind of traumatized, hella traumatized. I don't know. But seriously though, I grew up in a very culturally stigmatized time when it comes to mental health, and it was not something that people talked about. And I could also see how everybody in my community was suffering. And I thought, man, when I grow up, I'm going to do something about this. I'm going to like talk to people and figure out why we are all so fucked up. And then I did it. So here we are.
Nice. Did you know from the get-go you were going to do this psychology or
I
PhD?
knew from a pretty young age that like I was like, something's not right. And I was also just like really curious about humans and brains and how people functioned and why people were the way they were, and like, why people couldn't just say what they mean and mean what they say. Like, there were signs early on that there was some neurodivergence. And then I like really did a deep dive into it. But part of it is really destigmatizing mental health for my community and starting the conversations and getting people to examine and talk about their experiences in a way that wasn't just performance.
Do you feel like you got like pushback from people in like your own community when you started going on this journey of mental health, or was it kind of just like everyone's like, "Hey, that's nice. All right, go."
No, I mean, no one was like, "Hey, that's nice." Everyone's like, "What? Why would you do such a thing? Do you want to be a real doctor? What is this, a fake doctor?" Like, I mean, it was a lot of pushback. And then even now, my mom's like, "Okay, well, you do that like shrink shit. Like, I don't need to go see a therapist. It's all, it's still like she can accept that this is what I chose to do with my life and like watch from a distance, but it doesn't really apply anything to her own life. There's still a lot of stigma.
Is she happy or proud? Like, I'm sure you got a good family, things are good.
I think she's proud. Yeah, she's proud, but she's also just like, don't talk to me about it because I don't get it. So, yeah.
Is that a big thing in the Asian community or no?
Totally. It's a lot about saving face. It's a lot about, the collective and filial piety. It's about performance and achievement and success. Like, people in the Asian community really struggle to decouple success from happiness. People will check all these boxes and reach all these milestones, and then they're like, why am I still so miserable? Everything feels so hollow. Or they'll, professionally do really well, but then like in their personal life, like have no idea how to like ask someone on a date or make friends. So there's a lot of splinter development when it comes to what success looks like.
Mhm. And for your clients, do you feel like it's easier to talk with them because they are talking to somebody who's from their same community and like they open up better? Or do you still feel that pushback when you're talking to them?
It takes a minute. It takes a minute.
Right.
And I think it also depends on, people's generational immigration stories. Like first generation people will come in and just really try to be like symptom reduction. Let me just like fix the leak and be on my merry way. I don't want to do any sort of deep dives. I just want to like learn some breathing techniques or whatever. But then like second generation or people who really lacked that emotional attunement and have felt that because their friends or their peers, families had a very different experience. They really seek to do that deeper level excavation work where they really want to understand themselves and their family and their generational trauma and like their legacy. And so, yeah, it depends, but I feel that a lot of children of immigrants, especially, are really hungering for that emotional attunement and that deeper dive.
If you don't mind, for everyone that's listening, right, and the reels and everything that's going to be produced, what is your ethnicity? What is your background?
I am a 1.5 generation Chinese American immigrant. So I came to the US when I was 5. I was born in Shanghai, China, and I immigrated to Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Because he's from Michigan. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
You still live
Yeah,
in Michigan now?
Midwest. Don't you know?
Don't you know? That's more here. That's
That's
Minnesota.
Minnesota, you turd.
But it's all
Michigans, they're just like
it's all
lions.
Midwest.
Oh, here we go. You people are all the same. Here we
Oh,
go.
all in the same
Jesus, you heard it
region.
here.
Yeah.
All you whites.
Yeah, how do you say Saturday? How do you say Saturday, Spencer?
Saturday.
Saturday.
Saturday. Ah, wow, I'm having such a good Saturday.
Give your balls a tug. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Do you say
That's Canadian, jackass.
Oh,
I actually do. I do sometimes. I do. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I do too.
That's our thing. That's our thing here in Minnesota. We say "ope." Like "ope." All right.
Opa.
Ope.
So were you still? I know it's different. That's a different section of people. You still live in Michigan now or no?
I do not. I live in Texas. I'm in Austin, Texas.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you said Texas. Okay,
Said that in the
so
beginning,
how
asshole.
long? You know,
Anyways.
calm down. You know I'm slow. You know, and my stomach hurt, and you know.
That's how I know you
my
don't be listening.
All my sugars. I ain't had my sugars. How long did you live in Michigan for?
I was there from age 5 until 21. I did my undergrad at Michigan, go blue.
Right.
And then I
Hail.
moved to Houston and then Texas or Austin for grad school and stayed in Texas.
There you go.
Awesome.
Nice.
Did I know it's probably still hurts now, but remember your little interview with Michigan and you talked about what was it, gold? You say gold? What'd you say? You go yellow?
Gold and blue.
Gold and blue.
Gold and blue.
It's maize. It's maize.
I said, Mason the color motherfucker. That's a food group. Fuck y'all. Bougie ass, man. That's some bullshit. It's gold to me.
He's like, oh
Would you
shit.
rather be some corn coming out my ass, or some gold?
Like, you say from
Yeah,
Michigan?
so I didn't get that job.
Yeah, sorry to bring that up, but that was
I
hilarious.
know,
I
it
was
was funny.
blue.
Dude, and I'm from Michigan, and I know this, right? But I froze, and I was like, gold and blue?
Really? You're from Michigan too? Where
Girl,
Michigan?
I'm from Flint and Saginaw, Michigan. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
It's a thing.
That's the spot.
Hold out the mid.
Yeah. Oh, hold on now. It's a whole
There's
different
a
story.
bush behind now. Oh, now you know.
Anywho,
Keep it moving.
So, you describe your approach as liberation oriented and anti-oppressive. Could you explain what that means in practice and how it differs from traditional therapy models?
Yeah, I think so much of traditional therapy is very Eurocentric, it's very individualistic, it's very like, what can you do to shape your own life as mental health being a personal problem. And from a liberation, anti-oppressive approach, it really is very systems informed. It takes into consideration where did you learn this? How did you learn this? What systems and infrastructures in your life maintain this? And what do you have to be aware of even when you're shifting yourself? Because even if you want to just become a different person, the systems in which we're embedded does not allow for that a lot of the times. And that is the source and cause of a lot of the mental anguish that so many people experience. And I think, more and more conversations are revolving around this now when we realize that systemic problems trickle down and so much of people's suffering has to do with societal ills rather than an individual falling or failing.
So when you're working with clients and a lot of Asian folks, right? You said you're working with your population, your folks, your people, perfectionism, success, money, get the right job, right? Because I work with a lot of Asian folks too. Vastly different working with my Hispanic population, my Arab population versus Asian and East Asian. Vastly different cultural dynamics. And so how do you help deprogram some of this systemic or what society views? How do you help them do that? Because even if you help them do that, they still have society fully attacking them all the time.
Oh, totally, totally. And they have to, not only is it like Western dominant society, it's their own immigrant cultures and their own family of origins that very much still values collectivism and filial piety, and you can't just set boundaries and expect people to respect them, right? Like
there's no boundaries.
There's no boundaries. There's no boundaries. Like, I mean, I call it sneaky boundaries. You have to set sneaky boundaries where, you like do what you need to do and you like maybe put a different reason in as for your why, but you still say what you need to say and do what you need to do. And what was I saying about
you're good? Oh, that's the ADHD. So how do you help people deprogram some of this? How is it working through there? And do you find success?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is an integration because I think people are so compartmentalized, right? They have their like family of origin self, they have their work self, they have their friend self, and then these different selves don't get to intermingle. And so I help people understand like, where did you learn this? How did it serve you then? And does it still serve you now? What parts of it do you still want to take with you into your life today? And what parts can you leave behind? And really understanding and integrating the systems of power and oppression and family dynamics and immigrant culture and generational trauma and all the ways that people's families needed to contort themselves in order to survive gives people the perspective of like, well, maybe I don't need to contort myself as much, right? Like I have outgrown some of this. My positionality does not require this as much. And so how do I become more authentic, become more free in the way that I show up? And that's constantly a pendulum that you get to toggle. Like your identity isn't fixed, it's fluid throughout the spaces that you occupy and throughout your lifespan.
Freak someone out saying it's fluid, right? A lot of neurodivergence is like, I need to know this is who I am. It's like, no, this shit's ever changing, my guy. It's ever changing.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable.
So you have done a TED Talk.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Oh, no. Sit up now.
You know Ted?
Ted?
Was he high?
Red Ted?
Teddy Bear?
TEDx. It's not the big TED, but it's a...
Come on now. Ted's Ted, all right?
Ted is Ted.
Ted is Ted. All right?
Ted's a white guy, right? Is Ted an actual white guy or is Ted stand for something?
I don't know. I don't know.
I
hope it's the blackest man we've ever seen.
He black as hell.
Yep. Ted? Anyway, we'd love to know your experience doing that talk and just how did your public speaking really prepare you for that? Because it's a big deal. Not only are you being seen by a crowd of people, but you're also being very well seen on the internet too. So how'd you get prepared for that?
Yeah, I really love public speaking. I think it is the place where I feel the most powerful. I feel really alive and it was such a great experience because the crew that I was with, because we're all neurodivergent and we're all like, disability justice focused, we were like, let's all normalize the use of note cards, which it's not against the official TED rules. Like even for the big TED stage, you're allowed to have note cards, but people kind of poo-poo that. They're like, oh, well, if you have note cards, then you're not like a real TED speaker. And sure, yeah, you can do it without note cards. And the one person who did in my talk messed up without the note cards, but the rest of us had note cards. And so that certainly helped. But it was also just like, okay, there's a formula to it, right? It's like 17 minutes or less. There's some takeaways. There's definitely you want people to remember certain details, so you have to formulate your talk very specifically based on that. And then there's other stage presence things. There's the big red dot. Where do you walk in relation to this big red dot? So it was great training. I think it was helpful for just the rest of my public speaking career.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite public speaking event that you've done ever?
Like my moment.
Yeah, moment, or just or the crowd itself. Like maybe you were talking in front of your old alma mater. Maybe you were talking in front of people that you really love in your life. I don't know. Is there a favorite moment or place that you've done that you're like, this is my favorite?
It was good.
Ooh, what a great question. I've never been asked that before. That's one moment that yeah.
Go
ahead.
No. Go ahead before you lose it. Go ahead. You got it.
Me? Okay.
Yeah.
When I was interviewing for internship, you go to all these different places and then you rank them afterwards, and they rank you, and then wherever you've ranked, you match. And so I ranked this place as my top place, and they didn't rank me as their top person, so I did not match there. But then a few years later, they're like, hey, will you be our keynote speaker for our conference? And I was like, hey, I was not good enough to be an intern for you, but you want me to be the keynote speaker for your conference? Okay. All right. Yeah, we can do that. We can make that happen.
What did you talk about?
That was satisfying. I think I talked about what I always talk about, I think I talked about antidepressive care and shame, probably. I talk a lot about shame. Yeah.
Shame. Every time I look in the mirror.
You watch Game of Thrones and you're like, I like that. I like that. I want that bell. Give me that bell.
A lot of shame.
Shame.
So what was it that you think you liked? It was kind of like The Vengeance, or you found it got even more swag after that too?
I mean, both. I mean, I was just like, that's right. I wasn't good enough for you then, but look at me now. Okay.
That was your glow up. What do they call that shit after you? Your revenge bod. That was your revenge bod moment.
That was my revenge bod moment. It was satisfying. I'm not gonna lie. It was really satisfying.
Story arc.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Nothing wrong. People say that pettiness is not a good thing, but there are moments where pettiness is very fun and it's very satisfying. And that seems like that would be one of them, right?
Yep. Yes.
Hey.
I had someone recently, Spence, that rejected me from a job, but then they're referring clients to me now. So you rejected me to work for you within the school, but now you're sending me humans, and it's like, I don't.
What's happening?
I just hate people. I'm going to take care of that human that they sent me, but I still kind of hate you. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to take this out on the autistic.
You gotta pick your battles.
Right. It's just weird, man. So it's a nice little moment there too, right? Is where you get to I am doing really good. And it is kind of petty, but it's for real. Sometimes it's folks that are marginalized, this and that, and you're not going to get this job. You're not good enough. You don't get picked for the team. That those aren't your friends, and then you get these other markers, and then you see that look in their eye. We're like, oh shit, you are smart, we are successful. You did have the glow up, and they're like, oh, I wish I had you. It's like, yeah, well, too late now, you son of a bitch. Those are great moments.
Doing other things. Yeah,
I know. So question parlaying off of Spencer's. A lot of folks have a lot of performance anxiety, just talking anxiety. A lot of neurodivergent folks. Milton. What would be your advice for some of the folks, some of our followers, many of our followers that struggle with social anxiety or struggle with just like speech giving or just articulating themselves and feeling confident in it? What would you be about? You can walk through any type of case scenario.
Just don't overthink it. Just
Oh,
say
God.
the
Okay.
thing.
Well, there you go. It's done.
Like
Fixed.
truly, just don't overthink it. Like who does it serve when you overthink? Who does it serve when you feel like you are not good enough, when you're trying to like perfect yourself? Like it's probably not you. It's going to serve the system, or it's going to serve people who want to confirm their preconceived notions or judgments about you. Like you can always circle back and like course correct. I mean, obviously have like a little bit of a filter, but when you overthink, you come off as neurotic and anxious because you probably are. And so just say the thing. Just say the thing. Don't overthink it.
Question. Do you think it's acceptable to tell people in interviews or before certain speeches or the audience that I'm super nervous right now, just to put it out there that way?
Yes, I think so. I think it's so much power you got to name it to tame it. You have to just say the thing, and then that defames it and it loses some of the power. And then you're like less anxious, and people are like, oh, well, I get anxious sometimes too. We're just alike.
Everybody
us
gets
weekly.
anxious. Yes.
Yeah. Celebrities are just like us.
And they're just like us. They poop too. Bro, I get so many clients that are in their interviews right after the PhDs, they're graduating, all this stuff, and it's terrifying. I'm like, hey man, you can tell them that you're anxious. Like you're supposed to be anxious. The job market is extremely hard right now. You're an international kid. There's a lot of fucking writing on the line on this right now. So I think it's okay to tell people. I've told people that I'm a little anxious, a little nervous, and everyone's like, chill, man, we're good. Like I feel like it takes the pressure out of the room.
Totally.
But again, I come with a different set of
perform.
intersections compared to others. So you say name entertainment. I like that. I'm trying to convince my other clients to maybe do that a smidge. Don't tell them your whole anxiety story and how you're like
right
blown out the bathroom right before they got in the interview. They don't need to know that.
There is such a thing as TMI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's your day? I just dumped out before this.
There's also such thing as IBS. So,
a lot of my clients.
They go hand in hand.
Hey, so love to know. You are working on a book.
Yes.
Called The Hyphenated Life, Bridging the In-Between Spaces of Intersectional Identities. Could you share what inspired this and then also what people can expect from it when it comes out?
Yeah. So many of my clients and also my own lived experience revolve around this idea of feeling too much, not enough. Too much for this space, not enough for that space. One foot in either world, belonging to neither. And I think, especially with the more intersectional identities that you occupy, the more you feel like, I just don't have one space. There's parts of me that fit in here, parts of me that fit in there, but where do I belong? And so the book is really about unpacking and navigating some of that based on like, a lot of it's like the immigrant story and what it takes to, find your place with that mentality. But then also just like, how do you find your people no matter what spaces that you occupy? How can you feel like you are always enough and never too much? And I think there's so much about this like hyphenated identity that revolves around like generational trauma because we inherit it from places. We don't just come up with it out of nowhere. And then our relationships to shame, guilt, and complex trauma stories, histories around like what our parents were and weren't able to give us. And so a lot of times people show up as perfectionists and people pleasers and overachievers. Like my whole therapeutic niche is overthinking overachievers, and they don't realize like, oh, it's all just complex trauma and trying to find your place in the sun when you have one foot in or one limb in multiple worlds.
So for you, is this your story that you're talking about, right? You're the overachiever, the one that's kind of like failing at everything, but also good. And also, are you too much? Because you're not too much for me and Spencer. I feel like me and Spencer have been a little too much for you today, but I feel like you've been handling it well.
I don't think anyone's too much for me.
Okay. Because I was saying you've been rolling with it, and I've been surprised. I'm like,
Like, this is a Tuesday.
Let's do it.
I'm full crazy. So are you an overachiever? I mean, you got a PhD, so I would assume that you are. And are you a big time overthinker as well?
Oh, totally. It's like research and research, right? They go hand in hand. Yeah. I mean, I work best with people that I see myself in, where, it's like, oh yeah, you're a little neurodivergent. You're, trying to figure out who you are in the tapestry of life. Yeah, the chaos, right? You start pulling on one thread and the whole thing unravels.
Do clients know, I assume you are, but are you authentic in a way where that you present as like this unperfect person, or do you present as the model minority and the highly educated, sophisticated, like this is what you're gonna do?
Have you seen my social media content? Come on.
Hey, people fake as hell on social
know.
media.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but then like if this is my fake as hell, then like I must be like a real mess.
Girl, you could be.
Combine.
You could be. Surprise, I'm a white woman. What?
What the?
Rachel Dolezal that shit.
Oh my God. Jesus.
Shout out to her OnlyFans.
Oh, she has an OnlyFans?
Yeah, she did. I don't know if she does anymore. Yeah.
She did, yeah.
It did.
All right.
Black women.
Blessings.
Yeah, nothing against OnlyFans. It's just funny because
do you think? Yeah. It's more about trying to act black. Anywho,
racial.
Got racial real fast there. But hey, that's a good thing. Gotta have these conversations, right?
Yep.
So talking about kind of that intersectional, just that part of, for me, I'm biracial. So is Nas, and so coming up, when you have your identities, you're not sticking to just one group and everything like that, because depending on where you grew up in, you pick different groups. And so how would you say, how can people navigate finding themselves when, especially nowadays, it's growing even more and more, just interracial relationships and things like that? Like, how do you find yourself? How do you find these groups of people when, you're not just one group anymore? You're multiple things now.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's a lot because there's too much to choose from. So how do you help people navigate that?
I think there is a commonality where people who really occupy intersectional identities find themselves like satellites when it comes to friend groups. They're, instead of having like one group, they belong to lots of different groups. And I think that's actually a superpower. Like you get to utilize your ability to mask and code switch as a superpower. And yes, there is a toll, there is, negative connotations to all of it. And sometimes it helps you survive. And that's okay. You get to toggle that shit in a way that works for you. And you don't have to be at your fullest expression in order to be authentic. I think people believe that like I have to be like dial it up to 11 in order for like authenticity to apply. But you can be at a 2 and still be authentic. It's just, different parts of who you are. And that's one of our superpowers, is that we have lots of different parts that we can play up in different scenarios. We just have to be really honest with ourselves about like when we show up as which parts and why and how. And that takes a lot of self-knowledge, that takes a lot of honesty and humility to be like, yeah, I do play up certain parts of myself in certain dynamics because it helps me get further in life. And that's okay. But there are people who also have the same experience of this like hyphenate identity where they have lots of intersectional identities and they're more likely to be your people. And I think it is important, no matter like what spaces you occupy, that you find your people, as hodgepodge or satellite as that may be, because we all deserve to have spaces where we can just be like unabashed and messy and like loved and adored, not despite of it, but because of it.
We're saying a lot of good shit, man. She knows a few things.
Just one or two.
She knows a couple gems in there. That internship that didn't pick you, fuck them.
Yeah. wherever that place was. Fuck.
It was a white man. Yeah, I said it.
Every time. Goddamn
Every
white man.
time. Every time.
Hey, you can spill the tea here. It's fine. Nobody's watching.
Where's my stapler? I love what you said. Hopefully, Spence, we can get some good clips out of that.
Yeah.
That hyphen life is tough, but also I love that you said the code switching, and like even if you don't have to be full 100% like turned on that identity to identify with it, and also still be very authentic. I think a lot of my clients, with neurodivergence is dependent. There's a million different ways on how it fucks us up identity wise, because we're so much code switching, or if it's biracial, if it's economic, and then you go to college, but you're leaving back the hood and all that shit. It can fuck you up a lot, and like all your identities are authentic. Very rarely will they all merge together at once because that's just not how it works. But they'll be like, "Oh, I'm faking being with this people in this population." No, you're still real. That's still really you. I love that you said that. Hopefully a lot of people will listen to that.
So, and I mean, just speaking from like the Black community, from my side, I mean, there's just so much that goes into like whether you're Black enough or not. And even people who I know who are fully black, and they have those intersections where they maybe not seen as Black enough, or they're seen as white, and they have to play with their identity and be like, am I Black enough? When in reality, being Black isn't just about your background, and it's more than just the optics of being Black. Right. It's not listening to hip hop. It's not just being from the hood and growing up from there. A lot of intersections grow up in the hood. It's just a fact.
Totally.
And
no group in the monolith. Yeah.
No. And unfortunately, like our group of people get very stuck on that, and they think like that's the only thing that can happen. That's, and then people who think they're not Black enough think that they aren't enough and they need to do more for that. When in reality, you just have to be there for your people. You just have to support them when they're needed, and not just have to focus on, the optics of it. Just focus on, who you are as a
stereotypes.
person.
It's just a lot of bullshit stereotypes. It's like you can just show up and be you, and then you're still Black, you're still Mexican, you're still Arab, you're still Chinese. Just because you're American, or just because you may talk a certain way that might be more white adjacent, doesn't mean that you also lost your roots or your heritage, or you disavow your people. Even though technically all the water in America is poisoned by racism, but that's a different point for a different day. So interesting thing, and then we'll pivot to maybe the last one or two questions, Spence. There's a big thing that happened in women's basketball the other day. Spence probably saw it. Caitlin Clark hit homegirl Angel Reese, and then Angel Reese went back and pushed her and all this shit, right? And so that's not even the big thing. The big thing is a lot of people talking about it.
Yeah.
I love listening to Robert Griffin III. Love him.
Yeah.
And so he said some shit. And Ryan Clark, who may or may not come on the podcast, but super famous athlete on ESPN, he calls out Robert Griffin, right? And he calls he don't know shit because his wife's white, and he doesn't respect Black women and all that. I was like, whoa. So Robert just posted a whole thing like, you can't disenfranchise my entire entity and family's existence of being Black because I'm partnered and have kids, mixed kids.
Yeah.
And we were talking about like, that's way out of bounds. Like I get maybe, Robert spoke out of, maybe he's not taking the full totality of Angel Reese and all that, but I was like, don't attack him and his family. And then like, oh, you're whitewashes, you're with a white girl. Calm. What are we doing right now?
Calm down. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we doing? So I just wanted to bring that up. Spence, did you see all that shit that happened?
I haven't seen that, but I mean,
posted it.
That's a thing that a lot of people have been talking about for ever now. For forever and ever, especially when it comes to Black men being with white women. They think that then they lose their identity within that, which is hilarious to me because my dad's Black and my mom's white, and neither one of them lost their identities. They've always been who they are. And just because you're with a certain partner, yes, you may pick up certain traits from them, and it goes both ways. But at the same time, you also know that in these relationships, it is you are your individual selves. And just because you're with a certain person doesn't mean that you're fully that or you're fully that. Everybody is themselves. And to the fact that it's 2025 and we still have to have this conversation about this is
I mean, more
hilarious to
so
me.
now.
Yeah,
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's like
hilarious.
you don't understand black women because you're with a white girl. It's like, calm down. And it's not even like he's just dating her. Like they got babies together.
Well, like,
Like this
They have
is
so
whole
if he was
lives.
with black women, then if he said the same
he would have
comments,
said the
would
same
that
thing.
exactly? So it
Yep.
doesn't matter either
Robert would have
way.
said the same thing.
Exactly.
So I wanted to bring this up because it's still very relevant now.
Yeah.
Is the hyphened world in which we live in, and everyone still sees you. And so a lot of people will see those hyphens or your mixedness or your neurodivergence or your ability
I
to
mean,
be creative
it's
or
based
exceptional.
on what's salient, right? Like people will reduce you down to what you're presenting in the most visible form. Like, I'm married to a man, but I'm not straight. But people will be like, oh, you're married to a man. You are cis het mono, right? That's the assumption.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, no matter what quality it is, like we want to put people into boxes, and humans are just more complex than that.
Motherfucking box. UPS making a killing on this shit.
And brown shirts. All right.
They don't even sell boxes. I don't even know why I said that.
I go to FedEx. I don't
Who's selling boxes? They don't sell boxes.
FedEx sells boxes. Yeah,
they got boxes. I go to Home Depot for my boxes.
UPS also sells boxes, but
I've been
it's
in
all
the
right.
dumpsters
It's all right.
for some
It's all right. We're good. We're good.
I built, All right, go on. Let's go.
All right. So, you've grown a significant following, whether it be on Instagram, TikTok. How do you use those platforms to make mental health education more accessible?
When I first started, I was really trying to reach the people who could not afford therapy, who, maybe did go to therapy, but then they're realized something was off, but didn't know what, and like helping people vet their therapist and like better understand, this is what a good fit looks like, how it feels, and how do I really find someone who can get me beyond sort of like the Eurocentric traditional psychotherapy paradigm. But I think as I have grown and evolved in my platform, I realized so many of my followers are therapists. And like I speak more to therapists now than like, people who are trying to just access the mental health content. And part of it is because like I get really nerdy with that shit, and people, like what's accessible to different types of people, right? And so people like other therapists like are like, wow, this scratches my brain, whereas the layperson might be like, I don't know what you're talking about. But I think that's really exciting because it's kind of this train the trainer model where, I have like, split off into workshops, like CEUs for therapists where we can talk more about like, what does it look like to be an anti-oppressive, anti-racist clinician? How do you, conceptualize non-monogamy as a liberatory praxis? What do you do when it comes to your self-disclosure that can be a liberatory way of relating to your work and your craft? So that's been really exciting to me because with every therapist I touch, they have their whole caseload. And so I feel like the reach is so much greater because of that.
Yeah. Have you enjoyed your time doing content creation, or has it been a burden and burned you out at times?
I mean, both, right? These days, like I have not been crunching out producing content the way that I used to because so much of my creative energy is just trying to like finish this book. I've been really just trying to like focus on that, but also, it's a weird time for content creation because of like this recognition of how like, these platforms and corporations, censor certain topics, and it's late stage capitalism at its worst, always like TikTok shop, like, there's a lot of ick to it. But I mean, I don't really know what the solution is because like I think so many people are just like splintering off and be like, oh, join my Patreon or like subscribe to my Substack. But like there's still something to be said about these centralized places to get information that I don't feel like I can completely divest from if I want to be accessible to the people that I truly, really want to reach. So I haven't really figured that out yet. But it has been such a source of joy and community building and connection. Like I've met some of my best friends because of content creation, and it's It's been great. Like over, and I've been doing it for a long ass time. It's been 4.5 years. I started October of 2020.
Oh, wow.
So
Nice.
yeah, like it has really had lots of iterations in this time. You know, I posted every single day for 2 years, which is like crazy to think about now.
Girl, what you was talking about?
I don't even know. I
Hey,
like
guys.
these trends, you know.
I like the color red, and I'm gonna tell you what.
Basically, yeah. But
today I'm gay as hell. What?
You didn't even have ChatGPT to help you. You really
I know.
I
You're saying shit.
Yeah, I mean, and I think, you know, at this point, like I value my time, I value my creative energy more, where I'm just like, okay, I don't need to be like crunching it out in order to like stay relevant. And I think that's something that like a lot of content creators are fearful, right? Whether no matter what your craft is, whatever your medium is, it's like, am I going to matter? Am I still going to be relevant if I don't produce at the same rate, if I'm not controversial? And I've seen so many of, you know, my cohort, my fellow content creators who like have been canceled or fallen down some like lunacy deep dives because they're trying so hard to stay relevant. And I think that is a betrayal to yourself. Like, you know, you have to ride the waves of energy and creativity. And if sometimes that means you gotta like dial it back, you gotta dial it back.
Yeah.
Ride the wave. Red wave. It's coming. That's a joke. No, that's a Republican joke.
Oh my God.
Red wave.
It's already here.
It's already here.
It's
We're
already
drowning in
crashed.
that shit, motherfucker.
Speaking of content creators taking a break, there was this one guy who just like was out in the wilderness. Like his whole content was him out in the wilderness all the time, just doing camping, whatever it was, hiking. And he actually took a retirement from his channel because he was like, I've gained too much popularity and my family is no longer like anonymous anymore. And so he was just like, I have to take a break now because I've gotten too big. And I think a lot of people, when they take that step, that next step when it comes to content creation, it's kind of selling your soul like a little bit. Like you really do have to like sell your soul, not even on religious shit, but just metaphorically. Like you really have to give up yourself in a way in order to take the next step.
Available for consumption.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
And
I mean, we've seen it before where like people like are about to hit that mark, like Dave Chappelle. He was about to hit that mark and he said, you know what? I hit my mark already. I'm going to go away and I'm going to go for a while and I'll come back. I'll come back at some point. But for him, he knew that he was about to hit that point because his show was amazing. It was about to be even bigger. He's about to get $100 million, left that on the table. And then he was like, I'm out. Because sometimes when you lose yourself, you either make that choice. You're like, I'm just going to go all in on this, or I'm just going to go away because I don't want
I think about Frank Ocean, right? Frank Ocean is like such an epitome of that because like Frank Ocean versus Drake, they were like neck and neck, and then like Drake did his thing, and you know, like Drake is not doing so well these days. But Frank Ocean is known for this quote. He's like, yeah, it's not that hard, man. You just got to be okay with making less money.
Yeah.
It's like, that's really what it's about. Like
it is.
Yeah. And to be honest, hey, Frank Ocean, love his work. And I always wanted him to make more projects and things like that. But I'm also like, hey, do what you got to do, man.
Be a human.
Keep your sanity if you need to. You know?
Be a human.
Especially in this industry. Yeah.
I feel like this is going to tie in really well to what we're getting ready to talk about with work and work culture.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you okay doing a little pivot here?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna read the synopsis for Office Space because I think it's hilarious how they did this. So, all right, corporate drone Peter Gibbons hates his soul-killing job at software company Initech. While undergoing hypnotherapy, Peter is left in a blissful state when his therapist dies in the middle of their session.
Holy shit, I forgot about that.
Yeah, he refuses to work overtime, plays games at his desk, and unintentionally charms two consultants into putting him on the management fast track. When Peter's friends learn they are about to be downsized, they hatch a revenge plot against the company inspired by Superman 3. The end.
Interesting.
That's what we're getting.
It leaves you lacking. That's an incomplete synopsis.
It's a terrible synopsis of the film. I don't know what happened there, but they were just like, you know what? Fuck it.
We're done. Fuck it. It's enough.
Yeah, it'll
We
be
didn't
all
have
right.
Chat GPT back then.
No.
It's like
Somebody
life
wrote
mirrors
that.
art.
Like a real person wrote that. Anyways, so the first scene that we're going to be tackling is it's Peter. And like I said in the synopsis, he is in this meeting with these two fellas, and they are downsizing people in the company. And so Peter, and like he's in this blissfulness of this hypnosis. He doesn't even dress for work anymore. He doesn't do the whole button up, tuck your shirt in, all that shit. He doesn't do it anymore. He's just relaxing and chilling. And somehow, some way, this white man, gets a promotion. And he also looks good in front of these two higher ups and tells them about his day and how he doesn't do anything. He does 15 minutes of work, and that's it. If any of you been in this predicament, I know I have, especially in my past job. All I did was work at my desk. I literally did my job in like 15, 20 minutes, and I was done for the day. And all I had to do was look like I was working. It was great. It was fantastic.
Push the button.
Push the button. It was so great. Have any of you been in this? I know, like, you're therapists and you gotta do work and stuff like that. You're helping people. But, in any of your past jobs where you're just like, I'm just gonna chill for the next couple of hours. Yeah.
I mean, all of my clients, when they talk to me about their
why you ratting them out? The
corporate jobs. I mean, it's just corporate America. That's just what it is. That's what it looks like. That's what it feels like.
It is.
And the thing is, like, we all think, oh yeah, I want a job where like all I have to do is 15 minutes worth of work and then like putz around the rest of the day. But that's really not satisfying. Like people feel guilty, people lack meaning, and that is fast track to depression. It's not what it's cut out to be, what you think it might be.
I've mailed it in at other jobs. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, even this job as a therapist at Purdue, when a client cancels or no shows, I'm like, I'm gonna take a nap. I'll lay on my floor, my big ass, I'll be out. Like, people will be like, oh, you just love talking to people. Like, trust me, I'm in there begging for someone not to show up. Because, like, please, I don't want to see Bobby today. And it's not because of Bobby. It's because I just hate working there. Because I know I'm being underpaid for my services. I'm being devalued for how I show up. Being, inappropriate or too hood for my office. Because that's the shit that they say. Why don't you be friends with everyone? Because I'm autistic as shit and I don't want to leave my office, Jeff. Like, just leave me the fuck alone. I saw the clients. Everyone's happy. I love my clients. I don't need to love my whole entire staff members.
Yeah.
And so, like, it'll lead a lot of people to this soft quitting where now they start zoning out. So he talked about in that scene, Spence, like, I just zone out for like an hour and I just stare at my desk like, what the fuck am I doing here? My dad would be like, you out picking in them fields today, ain't you, boy? Because my job feels such like slave fucking labor. I fucking hate it. And now that I'm pretty much done, it's just a bunch of vacation days. It's so liberating. Sleeping better, Spence. I'm waking up better. I'm exercising. It's like amazing how you feel when you finally fucking are not oppressed and disrespected.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's wild. So I really love this fucking scene because he's just like,
I mean, he just says it like it is, Like, I mean, that's what like 95% of corporate America would want to say. Like, yeah, I spend a lot of time zoning out. I spend a lot of time scrolling or like online shopping or whatever. It's, people don't actually work 40-hour weeks.
No.
We need breaks.
It's hard to work 40 hours a week in certain jobs, right? Because you can get work done fast. And that's how they make it. They make it so you can fast track work. And then you're like, well, now you have to be productive with the rest of you. I'm like, first of all, you're not going to get me with that if I'm making 40 grand a year. That's not, like, it's just not going to happen. Why would I do that? You need to incentivize me And it's like, and now where I'm at in work, it feels like now, even though I'm not making much more, I'm also working harder because I actually like the company I'm working for. It's in an industry where I really love being at. And that's an incentive for me, is just keeping into that industry and keeping it from there. And I think, although I remember in school they talked about how like money wasn't a great incentive for people to actually work more. It's like yes and no, because yeah, you do have to love what you're doing, but at the same time, if I'm providing even more and I have even more cushion to where I don't have to worry financially, that helps a lot with my decision on where I work as well.
She talked about something called the golden handcuffs. What the hell is that?
That's the inverse of that, where you like can't leave because you get paid too well and you don't work that hard, and then you get stuck even if you're miserable, even if it feels meaningless because you're just pushing a button and it's not tied to any sort of your value system. Yeah, and that's also a big part of what so much of corporate America is dealing with. Is they're like, well, the job market is shitty. People are unemployed for a really long time. And so like, I hate my job, but I'm gonna stay here because it's better than not having one.
What was that thing you said? I can't get to my notes because it's behind this screen because I didn't write on the fucking whiteboard this time. You said moral something, like the moral.
Oh yeah. Moral injury. Yeah, yeah.
Moral injury.
Like,
What they do?
so a lot of times we're all familiar with the concept of burnout, which is, you work too hard and you don't have enough work-life balance and you are really just exhausted in this domain of your life. But maybe you don't hate your job, you just like are working too much for too little pay. And moral injury is when it goes beyond burnout and you are feeling like the work you're doing goes against your personal moral code. It goes against your value system, where you are, helping corporations make more money while exploiting people, right? Or, it was really a term that was coined around war veterans, where they have to go into war zones and like kill civilians or just like kill people in general. And they felt like that was a violation of their moral code. And then from there, it really extended to healthcare workers during COVID and beyond, right? Just like the healthcare system itself is really fucked, where we have to like triage and like, insurance pre-approvals, and people cannot actually access the care that they need and deserve because of profits. And healthcare workers, I mean, it sucks, like even as a mental health care professional, like I would love to take more insurance and make it more accessible. And also like I cannot do that with the degree of taxiness of this work and expect to like have anything left over for myself or my family. But in the past like years, I mean, especially in 2025, since January 20th, we are seeing this with a lot more industries, right? We're seeing this with tech workers where they're feeling like, oh my gosh, I always thought that this was a aligned field, but here is my CEO like, going to different places that don't feel aligned. And with, government workers where they're getting axed left and right and they don't know when or how. And so it's really hard to feel motivated and like you're making a difference and you're aligned with the work that you're doing when there are a lot of elements that are explicitly against your value system.
Yeah, your value system when it comes to a bunch of different things. It could be political, it could be monetization, it could be oppression, but also sometimes the value system is like the work and effort that you're putting into the actual work versus your family. And then you're like, what am I doing to my family? What am I doing to myself? And so now, but then you're obligated. It can get really messy really fast with a lot of neurodivergent, autistic folks, ADHD folks, OCD folks. They go a lot to feeding into the machine.
Yeah, performance.
They want to make their employer happy and they think that they're going to get that raise, but then a lot of us never get that raise. And then you just get more and more depressed, but then you just keep trying to work harder. and then you may not get those accolades. So it might be like a Milton vibe where they just kind of shit on you and like, oh, maybe they're finally going to notice me. And will you get rewarded with more work, no more money? More work, no more respect. So it really sucks when now you get into that moral, ethical obligation to you and your family. And that's when a lot of my clients start to get very existentially and very suicidal. Because what does life come to now? Am I just going to work, be tired as fuck? And all my autistic people are like, I don't want to do this. I don't even like going into work. But you're saying I have to do this to make money so I can eat? So there's no, I might as well just fucking die because I don't want. And I'm like, but I get it. And I tell them, like, I get it. And like, this shit sucks. They're like, does it get better? I'm like, kid, I don't fucking know because you don't have the degrees to get these easy ass jobs. Like, you're working hard, shitty jobs where they are working 40 hours.
Yeah.
So that moral shit is, I liked when you said it's the first time I ever heard that.
Yeah. I mean, it's so real because people think they're burnt out, right? They're like, oh, well, I should just like take a vacation. And like, how come like my 2 weeks didn't do anything for me? Or like, even with burnout, like burnout takes a lot longer to heal from than we want
Correct.
to admit. Like
People are
people are like,
disabled from
oh,
burnout.
yeah, totally. Like you take 2 to 4 weeks off. No. You take like 6 months to a year off, to really truly heal from burnout. But like if you have moral injury, then it doesn't even matter if you take 6 months to a year off. Like if you go back into that system, it's still gonna be demoralizing. It's still gonna be soul sucking. And you're gonna hate what you're doing because it's still gonna be misaligned with your value system. And I think that's the fork in the road that I think is really hard because people are having to decide like, do I maintain my values and my morals and like try to find a way out, or do I need to shift my entire moral value system in order to have less dissonance in how I'm living my life? And I mean, that's really heartbreaking to see because I think a lot of people are doing that, in recent months, given you know, the vibes, what the state of the world is that people are having to betray their entire moral value system because it's what allows them to live a little bit easier. And like, it's both so disappointing and also like, I can't really blame them, but god damn, I don't know.
It's a tough spot. Life is hard. Life is not as easy as people like it. Life is hard. And I always prepare my clients, life is a motherfucker. Not trying to be depressing. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I think this kind of leads us into the second scene. Do you got anything else you want to talk about this scene?
Also, like, if Peter wasn't a white man, would he have gotten that promotion? Would he have
See, and that's going into the next scene. Hey, Peter, Peter gets his promotion, and they're also telling him that they're going to downsize his friends. So he's like, well, not only am I getting promoted, I'm also taking the money that my friends had, and I'm also taking that as well. And that's when they scheme this plan to steal from Initech, which goes horribly wrong because of a decimal point or something like that. So we are talking about how this how just Peter gets promoted for doing less, right? And even talking bad about the company. Is this really a comment on privilege in the workplace, do you think? Do you also think that or how do you think that internalized expectations differ across people who, across race, gender, class? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, when we think about imposter syndrome, I like to call it, or no, imposter phenomenon, not imposter syndrome, which situates it within the individual, right? This is my syndrome, my problem. Whereas imposter phenomenon is more of a systems problem because who does it benefit, right? When people feel like they are an imposter and they are underqualified, they're going to compensate and work harder. And like, who benefits from that? Who can pay less to get the same amount, if not more, worth of value and work? Yeah. Like I think you can't extricate the privilege from the system. And when it comes to individuals within the system, like there are people who are going to be rewarded so much more simply because of who they know, what their background and their connections are. And like sometimes it's just their personality. Like gregariousness gets you really far when it comes to your professional life. But really, it's who you are and how palatable that is to the system at large.
So you're
How
saying
you
be a
toe
kiss
into that
ass.
line.
Be a kiss ass.
mean,
Be
You do.
professional.
I know. It
Yeah.
sucks. I can't do it. I really can't. Like, I can be professional, but I'm not also going to go out of my way. Stop nuzzling your goddamn mic. Jesus Christ,
I'm
like a
trying to kiss a
bear.
man.
Trying? Oh, yeah. Anyways, nothing wrong with that. Anyways, when you're talking about just work in general, and for me personally, I grew up with my mom, single mom, who worked her ass off, who also does not like kissing ass at all. Does not like doing it. I grew up in that household. And when it comes to that, I can be as professional as I need to be, but there's a point. There's a point where if you try to go too far, or if you try to make me do work that is out of my bounds and what I is deemed in my just job description, then that's when we have a problem. Because if you're not willing to pay me more for more work, then I'm not going to do the work. That's just how it is. And in this case with Peter, he's doing less work, and yet they love how just confrontational he is about just speaking about the company. Nonchalant. And they love that. And they're like, you know what? Here's everything. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen ever.
If you're not a white man.
Not a white man or a white woman. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. A lot of white women.
Let's
totally.
be honest now.
Yeah.
They up there too. But and I just think that unfortunately, especially when we talk about people who are on the spectrum, who are neurodiverse, they're not going to be able to do the ass kissing or the smoozing of other people because they're probably not people like they're not interested.
Some of them might not be.
Yeah, some of them, and others they just want to do their work and go from there. Put your head down, do your work. And unfortunately, you don't get paid more to do more work. You don't. You get more money for the people, like you said, the people that you know. You don't get more money for doing more work, because then you get more work. Oh, well, we were going to give you that position, but you're not very tactile when you talk to people, and we just don't like how you speak sometimes. So we're just going to go with this other person that we really like. So sorry, but you're going to keep the same job.
You are too good. You work yourself into being irreplaceable.
Yep.
So then there's no upward mobility because you're doing 2 people, 3 people's worth of work because you're that good. Yeah, it's not profitable to promote you.
So a lot of my folks of color, specifically women of color, really struggle with this imposter syndrome, aka imposter phenomenon. We're learning new shit because it's that system that projects this shit onto them, and they need to be that smart kid, that reliable kid, because they're facing all the racist shit that society has said. You're trash, you're garbage, you're unintelligent, you're lazy as Black and Hispanics, right? Your mooches on the system. And so a lot of us are fighting that. And so we go in there full throttle and we're trying to do our best. Some of us, we got the imposter phenomenon because the parents put us on that shit. The society has put this on us. And so we're never happy, like you talked about, and you're always trying to get towards this bigger goal. And eventually you're like, I fucking hate my life. You've been stripped of all your humanity and things that make you feel good, specifically for money. And then you realize that doesn't even make you fucking happy. It just makes you not poor. So this phenomenon is a son of a gun. And with some folks, there is a deficit. So when you see Milton, he ain't about to get no job promotion. He ain't about to, because he just doesn't have those skills. So a lot of my clients, a lot of my humans fall in that range where they don't necessarily have the skills to articulate themselves, or some of my clients, they don't have the whiteness, the adjacent, the professionalism, we call it. And that's where I fall into that place. But if I give up, which me and Spencer have talked about multiple times, and my father and my mentors, if you act, because they always call me Nazir, my mentors, if you act like this, then you will lose all your health and well-being. Like, you will become morally like depressed. You will be in this fucking horrible place. You won't be acting like yourself, and your clients will know, and your clients won't. And then you won't enjoy your clients; they won't enjoy you. I'm fucked. I'm all about the bond.
Yeah.
As long as the bond is tight, we're good.
Yep.
And so I feel bad knowing that he gets the promotion, because I think of like all my bosses, and he has 8 bosses, Spence. And them motherfuckers just be delegating work, and then it's all these little grunts like me that are doing in the fucking field work. Yeah. It's interesting in the trenches. It's interesting in the mental health field that it's so many women. So it's like 90% women, majority white women, but all the supervisors are white dudes. Like, I will never understand that. Even at my place of work now, it's all women. And all the bosses, except for one, are white dudes. I'm like, how is this possible when the entire building is women?
Yeah. It's like chefs, right? All the chefs are white dudes or just dudes. And then like who's cooking for the families? Women. Yeah.
I'll be real with you. There's gonna be a lot of Mexican women in there back there cooking.
Don't be
Let's be real
disrespecting
now.
my boy Gordon Ramsay. All right. All right.
He
My
won the
boy
good one.
Gordon. Hey. From the hood of England. I don't know where the hell
Is
that
he? I
is,
don't
but
know.
I don't know. Yeah, whatever.
Anyway. No, but it's just wild. So a lot of folks will fail upwards. I've recently had some talks with some folks that have quit my place, and they said certain people, which I'm not going to name on the pod, but certain people get a lot of the accolades which other people did the work for.
Yeah, totally.
It's very interesting to always see what that identity is, and it's always the same. It's always the dude.
Yeah, and it's like, if that is not your jam and that is the expected script, like there's so much dissonance too there, right? Like if you are a person of color and you are, a full-time employee at a company where most of the work is done by like contract workers, and you're just expected to take credit for it, and you're like, that's not how I roll. Like, there's so much moral injury and dissonance there, because the expectation is that you're going to beat your own drum, you're going to manage up, like all these buzzwords around like taking credit that may or may not be yours. It may not have been earned. And maybe you haven't even done anything, or maybe you did everything, but you aren't good at beating your own drum, right? Like it doesn't matter what you do, it's who you knows about what you did and what they think about your contribution. It's the optics.
Yep. Spence, real quick, and then we can get to the next scene. So I got a bunch of new bosses now, right? And a lot of them, they think they can start telling me what to do and shit. We've been having some real interesting conversations with people, really. I'm like, looky here, boy. You ain't telling me shit. It's been real interesting, because now everyone like, oh, okay, so no, you coming at me now? This is weird, man, because there's people, they got these cliques, at work. And I'm really cool with this guy's wife that's now like, third in command now. So I'm going talking to his wife at the front desk and all that. We're just kicking, having a blast. He comes out of his office, stands behind me. She just shuts up. I said, oh, so what did you tell your wife? You told your wife not to talk to me, huh? Ain't that about a bitch? So we was best friends, and now you told her not to talk to me because you the boss man. I said, this ain't right. That is some bullshit. Now I lost a friend. She won't even talk to me now. But we was best friends 2 weeks ago. And then he got a promotion. She just ignores me. Oh, okay. So I ain't that autistic. Something's going on. It's wild, bro.
I feel it.
Politics.
Like, oh, don't talk to Nas. He's a troublemaker. We was best friends last week. Wild. Girl, I'll let you have some of my dad's beef stew last week for group therapy.
That's probably why they don't talk to you no more. Got sick.
They got diarrhea. Had to dump out.
Like, he ruined us. Anyways,
my marriage is over. Damn, from stew.
Jeez. Anywho, so now we're talking about Tom, right? So Tom lost his job at Initech, and he decides that he was going to take his life into his own hands, right? And so he starts his car in his garage and was going to pretty much suffocate himself. But then his wife finds him, and he's like, you know what? Never mind, honey. Everything's gonna be all right. Then he gets hit by a car, and then he gets some money from it, though. He got some money. He's fine. He's living. And he got some money. A few broken bones. But what are you gonna do? But we wanted to talk about how in the past, or at least for the most part in the past, it was a lot more that was happening back then, of where if you lose your job, then essentially you were just like, this is it. I'm done. Now I can't provide for my family, and now I'm considered a loser. What do you think happened in these last few years where when you lose your job, it's not as much as a detriment to your health as it was back then?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's been so much in this like workers' revolution of decoupling your sense of self, your sense of worth and value from the buttons that you push during the day, from your occupation. And also like layoffs are so much more normalized. It's just happening all the time, depending on your industry. Like if you're in tech, like, yeah, I'm sure you've been laid off at least once in the past 3 years, if not more. And it's no longer a reflection of your skill set or your value or your worth. It's just something that happens in, as a cog in the machinery of late stage capitalism. And I think in a lot of ways, it's been really positive because people are able to decouple who they are from what they do. And at the same time, it's like the morale is so low because people are always ready to get axed at any time. And sometimes people really want to be axed because they want that severance package. And who can blame them, right? Like they are miserable. They know they're in the golden handcuffs, so they can't just quit by themselves and get nothing. But if they are laid off, they get like a nice little sweet package. So, it's a double-edged sword. In a lot of ways, it's great that people do not feel like their entire identity is their professional identity. And at the same time, morale is low.
Yeah. So I have a question. Do you think it's still healthy, even though you may love your job, love the people there, love the company, everything like that? Do you think it's still healthy to decouple from that, even though it is something that you're happy doing?
I don't think any human should have one realm that defines them, whether it's their work, their children, their roles, their relationship, whatever it is, we are all multifaceted, multidimensional creatures, and we need lots of different inputs in order to feel whole. And so I think it's healthy to situate work as one part of your whole, even if it is satisfying and it gives you life and it satisfies the meaning making. It can't be the only source of who you are. No dimension of your life is.
If you were a creature, what creature would you be?
A meerkat.
That was so quick. God damn. Why? Can we ask why? Why a meerkat?
Because they're curious. They are a matriarchal society.
I need to be your Pumbaa. Can I please be your fat best friend?
I need to be your fat best
friend.
Timon.
Yeah, be Timon. I don't know who our Simba's gonna be, but he's some gorgeous motherfucker. I'll tell you that right now.
With really good hair.
Really good hair.
No,
yeah,
I ain't no hair. Nope.
I'm gonna be a warthog for sure.
I'll be Scar.
Oh my God. I told one of my clients, I said sometimes, I was like, girl, you're literally like Simba when his dad dies. She's like, what are you talking about? Dad! Dad, because she's just trying to get this motherfucker to do anything in their marriage. She's like, Dad, can you not? She's like, can you not give me that image? I'm like, I'm so sorry, girl.
It's like he's dead. He's dead.
I know. Well, her partner is kind of. He's checked out
emotionally.
Yeah.
He was
emotionally
done.
Oh, so what? Meerkat? Because they're just inquisitive. What were you going to say? They're patriarchal.
They're
matriarchal.
They're matriarchal. They're matriarchal societies. They're not patriarchal.
The one society.
She's like, I love the patriarchy.
Meerkats and whales. Whales are also patriarchal.
Oh, hey, hey,
You know.
hey.
Progress.
Hey.
But they're inquisitive, they're curious. Like, I mean, I'll be honest, I became a therapist because I'm nosy. Like, I want to know all the hot goss about everybody. I don't care if I know you or not. I just want to know the tea. So
okay.
All right.
What are warthogs known for? They're just
they fart a lot. Right?
I think they're
You
just
watch The
aggressive.
Lion King? You watch The Lion King?
I think and they're fast as shit. They're actually
Slimy.
like they're fucking fast. I saw one like he went from like getting chased by like lions to hyenas, outran them all. It was crazy.
Well,
I
got
was like,
speed.
whoa.
Where were you?
Dude,
Where were you when you saw this?
Look, the internet's a crazy place. Okay. All right. You can see anything on the internet.
It was an ad during my porn dive. Jesus Christ.
I'm like, what's this ad? Put that lotion down. Anyway.
Am I hungry for fucking pig?
Shut
I
up.
like pig.
Oh,
Anyone got any poor jobs?
Oh my god.
Spence, what would you be? You would be Scar?
I wouldn't actually be fucking
No,
Scar.
I feel like
A
it's
murderer uncle? No, I wouldn't be Scar.
Son of a bitch.
And brother. No, I'd probably be. I like the great white shark. I've always loved the great white shark.
All right, you're going shark.
Yeah, I would go shark. Great white shark, because they're just
Top of the food chain.
But then also like nobody fucks with them. You know?
Yeah.
Nobody fucks with them.
Okay.
And if you do, you're gonna get eaten.
I'm going panda. Well, real talk, I'm going panda. I just want to like eat and just fucking play in the fucking tree. I'll sleep.
That's true.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
A lot of bamboo.
A lot of bamboo. Just chilling.
Yeah.
You know.
I'll be honest, if it was actually, it'd probably be a sloth. Not gonna lie. Just slow moving.
Sloth.
Slow
panda.
moving. Meerkat.
Mouse looking thing. Okay.
Mouse.
Jungle mouse.
Jungle mouse. I like it.
Okay, it's so random. I'm sorry.
They're like gophers, essentially. They're like the African gopher. I mean, you know. Yeah.
Yo, you a black gopher.
Oh, my God.
I knew he was black. Oh my God.
Pissed up.
Next scene.
Back on our side. All right, anyway,
Next scene. You coming to the cookout, girl.
So we have which is the printer scene. That's just a fun scene, you know. That's
that is what it is.
That's just one of those. That's one of the classic moments, right? Everybody spoofed this moment. Family Guy, probably The Simpsons. Everybody's done it. Yep. They've spoofed it. Just a great moment, and just we'll probably use it more for reels than anything else. But
yeah, it'll be a reel.
Yeah.
Hannah, have you ever wanted to smash anything like after you left a business or
Oh yeah, of course. Right? Like who doesn't?
Was there
anything in the company? Anything specific in the company or people?
Don't say that.
Okay, don't say that.
Don't say that.
I mean, I feel like what I want to smash is ideology.
There you go.
It's not tangible. Like I wish it could just be tangible. There could be representations of it, but like it's ideology, It's
She says so many big words. I hate you.
White supremacy, patriarchy, capitalism, all the trifecta. Yeah.
My brain hurts.
I know. Good luck with your book. Your shit's never gonna get into libraries in America.
Intricacy. Just one big word. You're like, fuck this.
Yeah, they're like hyphen. No.
Don't know what that is. Sorry.
I don't want to. Who did you?
It's probably gonna be a bestseller. Not even gonna lie. It's probably.
Real talk.
I'm not even lying. It's probably gonna be.
I mean, y'all better buy it. Y'all better buy like 10 copies.
You're not gonna give us a free copy? What the fuck?
I don't understand. Everyone give me a copy. People
and then buy it.
And then buy it.
I'll give you an advanced reader copy so you can like type it up and then like pre-order. At least
I tell people all the time to we got a lot of people that do books and we do promote all their shit and then they're like, oh, we'll send you a copy. They never do.
Really?
Like, I can't promote your shit if you don't send it to me. They're like, just buy it. Like that ain't how this work, honey. If I'm going to promote you to 50,000 people, I'm going to promote you to. Like, let's be real.
At least give me a synopsis of it. God damn, like nothing.
My guy sends me a picture of him and all his books. The Matt guys, Zadarasky or whatever. I'm like, is my book in there? Like, I don't.
No. You can look at the books from the picture of the book.
Yeah, this is for the white people. What?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So I don't know. You would smash ideologies. I think there's a few computers I would like to smash that never fucking worked and always crashed.
Yeah.
Some
And you're like, oh,
plates.
plates. For me, it's always computers. It's like, and then you got a
It'd
line
be
of people.
satisfying.
Oh yeah.
No, I ain't trying to break no shit now. I'm not that type of guy that like crashes out and like breaks things. I'm like, no, this shit costs money.
I'm not crashing out. There's
Girl,
no
you ain't been
scenario
poor.
where you
ain't
can
been
do
poor
it.
enough. Y'all ain't been poor enough.
There's no scenario where you can break anything. It doesn't matter.
All
Like,
my
you're not
shit
gonna get
paper
in
plates.
trouble.
Let's be real. It's paper plates in his house.
You just rip it. You just rip it.
I'll do
No
weed.
smashing. That's less satisfying. That's less satisfying.
That's so
What would you
boring,
smash?
bruh.
What would you smash?
Man, let me tell you, in my last job, it was all like the offices were all like glass windows. Oh my gosh. The sound of those breaking would be hilarious to me.
Terrifying.
It'd be great. It'd be great. Just take a little bat right to it. It'd be great.
Bruh.
If anything
Having to
happens
see
to those office doors, it wasn't me, by the way.
There you go.
Just in case something ever happens. It wasn't me. I haven't been to the office in a while.
We don't
Right,
condone any violence towards any humans or objects on property that's not yours.
Good explanation.
Thank you for
there.
that disclaimer.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's important.
Yeah.
Very important.
We should put that into the disclaimer of our show. Yeah.
We should. We
Yeah.
don't condone.
We don't condone violence on people or objects in places we don't have.
But go to a rage room. They have special places for this now where you go and
Yes.
like smash outdated shit.
Yeah.
And they give you safety wear, goggles, and
This
gloves.
sounds like a
You can take out
a
your
hookup
anger.
spot. Is this Grinder?
What the
They give you
fuck?
safety wear, you smash out on things. I'm like,
Oh
what are we
my
talking about right
God
now?
damn it.
It sounds like a good night.
Jesus Christ.
Let's keep it moving.
Swinger
Let's keep it
party.
moving.
Anyways,
That's a different podcast. You can have me on that one too, but that's a different podcast.
Pause. Bro, pause. I was watching some reels today.
Oh, here we go.
And so one of my friends sent me one, and it was like a storage closet, like a Storage Wars, and they spent $300 on the storage, and he unzipped the bag, and it just dildos. It was fucking hilarious. He's like,
dildos are expensive.
I don't know. Are they?
Yeah, like you can spend $100 on one. So if you get a whole bunch of them, that's like you get your money back.
$100. Fuck this.
$100.
Go to the grocery store. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that.
Grocery store. Shut the fuck
If you want an analog one.
Hey.
up. The analog one. We're talking about mechanics.
Hey. Go old school.
Spencer's like, I got something for you.
Hey.
We don't want it.
Spencer and his carrot. I don't know.
It's green. Let me tell you.
Why does it smell?
Is it rotten? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
all right?
turtleneck? Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. This is getting canceled.
I'm circumcised. Anyways.
Oh my God. What is this podcast?
I'm Catholic. What? Anyways.
Milton.
Milton. So Milton is the quiet, productive worker who always just gets shitted on, right? We talked about it a few times on this show already, but that's Milton essentially. And he just, every time his boss talks to him, it always seems to go worse for him, even though like all he wants is a stapler and all he wants to do is play his music. That's it. Nothing much. Milton's a very easygoing guy. And that's kind of the problem, right? Unfortunately, right? If you're easygoing, if you're an easy target, even in the workplace, you're still a target of bullying and also being taken advantage of. And so that is Milton. He is somebody who's taken advantage of.
He doesn't advocate for himself because he
does
doesn't know how.
And who's there to talk for him? Everybody just like doesn't like him because he's a quiet to himself guy. So he can't go to HR. He can't go to his bosses. He can't even go to other coworkers really because they're just like,
He
whatever,
has no
Milton.
friends.
He has nothing, right? And so as the movie goes on, it just keeps getting worse, right? So first they took a stapler, then he gets sent down to the boiler room. And then, but it ends well for Milton, right? Because
Yeah.
he's in a fit of anger, in a fit of rage, because it's building up. It's been building up in the whole movie. You can see it's been building up inside that whole time, and he's just been getting his rage built up over and over. And every time he gets disrespected, he doesn't get cake when it's birthday cake. Let's be honest, that one woman to his left should have kept passing the cake on, but she didn't because she wanted a piece of cake. Want to be selfish. And he just keeps getting disrespected. But Milton, at the end of it, so kind of have to explain a little bit, but the three guys who stole the money, they tried to put the money back into the boss's office to be like, hey, here's all the money back, no harm, no foul. And Milton finds it, he takes it, and he burns the whole office down. And then he goes on a long trip to an island in Mexico, so that then they can't find him. It's a great character to really showcase, like you said, of advocating for yourself and speaking up at certain times, because guess what? Not all the time people are going to be able to do that for you. You're going to, even though it's nice to have people in your corner, for the most part at job spaces, you're not going to be able to have people on your side. And you really do have to talk for yourself and make sure that you're not being stepped on like Milton. And or also it's a great show for employers also to treat your employees with respect, because they could fuck up your business if you fuck them
It
around
might
too
burn
much.
the shit down.
Hey, hey,
You want to see a little autistic meltdown? Yeah, that's one right there. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. And, stop putting your employees in a corner. Stop pushing them to that far. They actually stopped. Not only did they make him work, they stopped paying him. They're like, oh, he was fired actually a couple of years ago, and there was a glitch in the system, and he just kept getting paid. And so they were like, oh, yeah, we fixed it. And so now nobody told him that he's working for free. And so he kept working, and just kept on going. So like I said, great character. And I think it's a great chance for employers to really make sure to keep your employees happy, right?
Totally. But also like recognize neurodivergence, right? Like this movie was made before we had a broader representation of what neurodivergence and specifically autism looks like. Like clearly Milton is really autistic, and that's great. And people at this workspace did not recognize that and did not celebrate the ways that he does add value.
Correct. So instead of going through all the scenes, we're just going to wrap this up because we run out of time. And I love how Spence did that. Thank you. So have you had any clients that maybe resemble Milton at all, or some aspects of Milton? And how did you help them out?
Yeah, I mean, and it's always like multi-dimensional, right? Because it's like you're autistic, but you're a person of color and you come from a collectivist background and you're queer or trans or whatever, like it's like, it's very rarely is it just like one dimension of identity or, marginalization. And I think there's so many gifts that each of these identities offer you, and we don't see it when we only are so deficit focused. So I try to help people be more like aligned to who they are and like recognize the gifts that they do possess. Like there is a lot of superpowers associated with neurodivergence more broadly, but like autism more specifically. And even if, social skills are difficult, there are some things that can very much be beneficial to whatever you're doing. Yeah, the company. But you have to find your role. You have to find your spot. And sometimes it's a mismatch, right? Like the job that you are assigned to do is not a great fit for your skill set. So then you need to find a place where those skill sets will be celebrated. And it takes some trial and error. We gotta like kind of, fuck around and find out to figure out where we belong sometimes.
Facts.
Yeah.
Him being overlooked, Spence, really hurt. The character is funny.
Right.
And I think I used to really laugh at it. Now it kind of makes me like really sad, like extremely sad to see how he gets his shit on. Because me being, low support needs, right? I don't need much. And then, but I picture someone like Salim at moderate needs or someone at high support needs. And that's them getting fucked over. That's them getting abused. That's them getting taken advantage of. That's some of my very naive and innocent kiddos that get taken advantage of in horrible ways, financially, physically, sexually, emotionally. And I'm just like, damn. And so many of my kiddos, they can't talk, and maybe they're nonverbal, or maybe it's just a bunch of hot mess that comes out. And so I'll send them to places, Spence, to go get help from this place, this office, that office. And they'll shit on my kid and tell him to go away. Oh, you didn't say. And then my kid comes back to me traumatized because they're always told they don't make any sense, or they're not getting to the point, or my kid has too much trauma to even get to the point. I can understand them. It's fine.
Yeah.
So I just write fucking kids letters now. I'll say, I'll write you the letter. You email the people. You show up to the meeting. You ain't got to say shit. Just have them read the letter. And I've continuously had to do that more and more now. And I'm not trying to take anyone's autonomy away. But when they're going to doctor's office, the dean's office, professor's office, and they're getting just fucking railroaded, that's not helping me and my client.
No.
So we talk about what they want to say. I write the shit down because they get kind of anxious about it, and they send it. And then that allows them to have the conversation that's much more structured. So I think of Milton, and I just get sad. And it sucks that, some folks in these workplaces will take advantage of him or hurt him, but betray him, belittle him. I think of other folks that are like queer or trans that are in that same position, which might be more bullied or targeted. And then you see him become like the villain at the end, or the bad guy at the end, but he's still so autistic on the beach. Like, did they have too much fucking salt, right? I don't understand. He's like, I'm going to write a letter. I'm going to write horrible reviews. I'm going to fucking tank this place.
Yeah.
And take my traveler's checks.
Yep.
To a competing place.
And I love it. I do love it. And I think this is a really good representation of not Spence. What did we talk about in the last pod for the accountant? Of like this certain type of autism that they always show. That's like extreme fucking geniuses and all that. And like, they don't really talk about masking, where we got this guy that's probably not masking a shit ton. He's just being him. That's autistic as hell. But he's being hurt and bullied. Yeah. Instead of all these other shows, they're kind of affirming them and like celebrating them. Like we see the other dark side of like autism or neurodivergence. That's the dark side.
Which I think is a good place to actually show too. I think nowadays as well.
Yeah. Representation, right? Like I think, when you think about like neurodivergent content creators, they're generally pretty articulate or attractive, or there's something about them that is not representative of most people's experience with that neurodivergence. And I mean, Milton truly stays true to himself, like to the bitter end. Like he's still just like railing about that salt on his margarita. And
I don't want salt on my drink. I don't understand. Why would you put salt on my drink? I don't understand. I'm going to write a letter. No.
I'm dead. That's great, but that's how legit. That's how my clients act and think.
Yeah.
And the echolalia will kick up, and the stress kicks up, and next could come the full meltdown.
Yeah.
Because they'll be sitting there, Nas, and they'll be rocking some of my students, and they're telling me, and I got to pull them out of that because I can see them fucking spiraling. If I don't pull them out of it, they're gonna tank.
Yeah.
So then the next thing is, how do we figure out, like, identify when we're starting to spiral, and like put in some speed bumps and some stims and some other things. And I'll tell the client sometimes, I'm like, I'm distracting you, right, by like talking about other shit. They're like, I know, Nas. I said, I'm just making sure you know. I didn't randomly just talk about fucking Pokemon cards.
Why not?
While you were having a meltdown.
Why not? The fuck?
Not,
You should. All right. Charizard.
Fuck. Meerkat. So I love the character. I'm glad that we did this. This is one of the reasons why I was excited to do this film, because of that character and the realness and the dark side, which we don't ever see in movies or shows.
Yeah. I would also, I do have a question, especially about when let's talk about applying to jobs, right? And when we apply to jobs, they have that one form where you can say out like all the disabilities and your identities and things like that. We're going to talk about this too in another show about Boston Legal, about one character who's autistic, and he actually gets fired from his job for different reasons. But um, I'm with everything going on today politically. Um, do you find it difficult to really put those identities and disabilities into these applications, even though they are needed and you want to have as much clairvoyancy or you want to be as careful as you can while you're filling out these forms, but at the same time you also want to make sure these employers know exactly like what's going on too. um, do you find it hard to talk about those certain things, and like what are your takes on people filling out these forms when they talk about their identities, disabilities, things like that?
This is something I talk about a lot when it comes to like note keeping and what do we document and what do we even ask clients for? Like, do we even ask for their pronouns? Is it going to come back and bite everyone in the ass, right? Like, we just got to a place where these the very real implications of your lived experience and your identities is like being recognized and like being celebrated in a lot of ways. And now it's like, 100 steps backwards. And I think about how all of us, we still exist. We are still in this world. We are still trying to make it through. And we just have our marching orders to say what we need to say and keep our jobs, right? Like we are still doing the same thing. We just need to call it something a little bit different. And it sucks. It sucks that we have to do that. And we see the very real implications of not doing that. And not everyone has the privilege to be able to say, like, I don't know, free Palestine loud, right? Like, people are getting their degrees revoked. Like, it's very real, horrible implications of all of this stuff. And at the same time, like, we're all still out here, we're still existing. So it's just going to be more subversive, I think. I think we're all just trying to figure out how to, like, like test the waters in a different way, dog whistles, whatever. Like, how do we assess and vet the safety of the people around us without having to be as transparent or as vulnerable?
For Spence, for the applications, I always advise my clients that if it's disabling enough to be picked up in the interview, then you need to document it. That way it's not held against you. If you are functioning enough to where you look like you're neurotypical, everything's fine, don't worry about it. I said, we'll fill out the paperwork and we'll go to HR after you get the job. I'll fill out all the information, the forms, we'll get you accommodations. So to me, when it comes to that subsection, not just us as clinicians and what we document and all that, is how good are we are blending in or masking, or how disabled are we by whatever we got going on?
Right.
If there is like a stammer, stutter, if there is some ADHD that's intense and we zone out, just some dissociations, high anxiety, it just depends. Eye contact, then I will have them identify things if needed. But in these times, Spence, it's scary, but I have to have them documented because I don't want to be held against them.
Right. Yeah.
So it's case by case.
Yeah, and I think that's perfect, and I think that's going to go well with people to know that, especially if they don't have somebody there to tell them these things, right? Because maybe they do fill out their applications and they keep on getting rejected from these jobs, whether or not they put in certain disabilities or identities into the application, or they leave them out, and then they get to that stage and then they're like, why am I not getting the jobs that I know I'm qualified for? So I think that'll also go a long way with this too.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've got a few
you
folks.
have to know your rights, right? You have to know your rights and what is protected under law for now.
Right.
And it's also not the worst thing to learn how to mask these days. And I hate saying that.
Right.
But it's a survival tactic.
It is.
So,
it
yeah.
is. I so badly want to click it. And I was working with a client today just to fill out insurance because I'm trying to help them get insurance. And there's certain things he's like, should I click this? I'm like, nah, G, we ain't clicking that. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's always changing these days too, so it's hard to know what the right answer is.
So let's do a little pivot and get out of here. So what do you got going on? What do you got to promote? Like, you got a book going on? Do you
Yeah.
currently accept clients? Because I got a place where I refer people. Like, what do you got going on, and how can we
Who are
support
you?
you? How can we support you?
Well, I have a group private practice and we are taking clients. I'm personally not taking clients because I'm a little hyper fixated on finishing this book, but I do have fellow clinicians who are all side-packed. So they see clients telehealth across like 40 states. I have people who specialize in OCD and neurodivergence and anxiety. I also have an assessment psychologist who does autism and ADHD evals in a neurodivergence affirming way. So if we need to keep things on the DL, like that's okay. We can make that happen. But she's also doing long COVID neuropsych evals, which is really cool because, we're seeing the implications of this mass disabling event and how that affects people's mental health and neurological health. And other than that, I'm promoting my book, which is currently stated to be out in June of next year. And we're not quite at like the pre-orders phase yet, but we will be soon.
All right.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. We will definitely be promoting your book as soon as you have pre-order, whatever. And
Thank
then
you. Thank you. Yeah.
And
I'll
we
hit you
loved
up.
having you. So hey, come back anytime.
Okay, I'll take you up on it. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
We're gonna have to
Awesome.
do Lion King now. That's something I don't even think about. Dad?
I mean, if I can like really embody Timon during it, like count me in. I'm there. I'm there.
I just
gotta be your best Nathan Lane. You're just like, here we go. Okay.
Yep. I'm telling you.
The legend,
Love it.
Nathan Lane. All right.
Love it.
All right. Well, thank you again, Dr. Han Ren, for coming on. We really appreciate you. I'm Spencer. That's Nas. Different Special Packet.
All right, everyone. Much
Thank you
love and
so
remember.
much.
Remember to take care of yourselves.
Or don't.
It's completely up to you. Peace. Eyes twitching. Good.